Hey guys, this is Rosa Kelly. Welcome back to the channel, and I hope that you guys are doing well. So today I just wanted to open up and share a little bit of my grieving journey a year into the date, which is really hard to believe. But yeah, we're still here, we're still alive, and we are happy. But anyway, so if you guys are new to my channel, you might not know, but I have been going through um, the loss of my mom, and it has been very, very challenging. My mom and I were very close. We have lived together most of most of my life, and it was like ripping a part of me, losing her so fast, so unexpectedly. Oh my gosh, I'm really gonna try not to cry in this video, but I did open up about what happened, and I always want to share with you my journey, because I know there's a lot of you who reached out that are going through maybe something similar. Perhaps know your mom, maybe your partner, someone in your family, and yeah, we're all in this together, aren't we? Navigating life and just going through the journey. I never imagined in a million years that I was gonna lose my mom. I never thought of it, and especially something that happened so unexpectedly and so quickly that a year into the date, I'm still processing and I'm still dealing with a lot of heavy emotions. But I have been, I have felt comfort and yeah, and I'll go through my experience in a little bit. But if you guys are going through something similar, please reach out. And like I said, we're in this together, and also do let me know what is working for you. I know grieving process is different for everyone, but there are some common factors that I think we can all benefit from. So feel free to share your story on the comments, and I'll be very, very happy to read them. So a year into the date, I guess what I could say right now is that sadly and unfortunately and unfairly, life does not stop when something like this happen. We are given grieving time from work. I'm very grateful for my work being so understanding of the time that I needed. Uh, but we're still, life continues, unfortunately. And I don't say in a way, oh, life continues, we must keep going. But when you don't want to keep going, and when you feel like nobody around you understand what you're going through, and the sun keeps coming up every morning, the days keep rolling, and you just want to make everything stop. I think for me that was one of the most difficult things, but also one of the things that has helped, because I am a mother of three girls that are very active in volleyball. I share my volleyball journey here sometimes, and I think that has been one of the reasons that has kept me, out of bed, and getting them to school, getting them to their practice, to make sure that their life continues, that they're still happy. I know they're also going through their own grieving, and I just wanted to make the transition seamless, and of course honoring my mom's memory in a happy way, to not make my kids very sad. And sometimes, crying when no one can see me, and like if I really, really needed to cry, just go into the shower and cry. Although I don't feel like I need to hide my emotions. I just don't want to, when the girls are happy, and I just don't want to bring that mood sometimes. And grieving happens, oh my goodness, it hits me unexpectedly. Yesterday I was in a meeting, and as I was finishing, was catching up with a coworker, and it suddenly just hit me how much I miss my mom, and I started crying, and and it's okay to show yourself how you are. It's okay to, I don't like to let people sometimes in too much, because I don't want this grieving process to maybe feel like an excuse for, maybe not getting something done. I never wanted that to affect other, especially my work. And I think I've done a pretty good job trying to present myself in a way that I'm reliable, when, everything else in my life was kind of falling apart. At least for a while it was. But yeah, unfortunately life continues, and we have to learn to move on, which is, you don't even know how many times I wanted to just like close the door on everything, even on myself, even on sometimes my kids. Not saying that they're doing nothing wrong. I just, for one time, I don't want to worry about dinner. For one time, I don't want to, you know, drive to the volleyball practice or to the tournaments. But those are moments that also keep me happy, and give me an excuse to go out and do something, and it just makes me so happy. So I'll be lying if I said that I have been 100% crying every day, but I have been. I have moments of happiness and joy, and I always share those with my mom. I always said thank you for, sometimes I feel like she's the force behind us, helping us get through things. And sometimes I still forget that she's not with us. Yesterday I was driving. um I'm trying to remember what happened. I don't even remember what it was, but I had this need of like, oh, I'm gonna tell my mom, and I just wanted to call her, and I couldn't. So it hit me again. Oh my gosh, I'm so, and so your mind plays tricks with you because you're just not there yet. You're not ready, and I don't think that I will ever be okay. But it's a different phase in my life, right? Need to learn to be okay. I know that this is the new okay. I am okay, but internally I'm not fully okay. But this is the new normal, right? To feel in waves again. So a year into, yes, I am still very much grieving, but there are some things that help me, and I wanted to share with you what has helped me cope a little bit with the process. And my mom visits me in my dreams, and she comes, and we have this beautiful moment together that I forget that this is a dream. I forget that she's not here, and it's like every day, we're doing the things around the house. Or my mom and me were always talking about, what are we gonna cook now? It's we're always trying to, oh, my dogs, sorry about that. We were always trying to switch it up. And now I'm like, when I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna cook, I talk to her. I'm so like, what am I gonna do? Send me some ideas. Like, and so for a very long time, I was having a lot of problems sleeping, and uh, I was having the most beautiful dreams that will turn into nightmares. And not the dream was still beautiful, but like knowing that I'm in a dream and this is not real is when my body went and will go into like panic mode and get those feelings of like, when you go on a nightmare and you want to wake up but you can't. I was having the opposite. Like, I didn't want to wake up, but I know I was waking up. So I was going into panic because in my dream, I'm like, I don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up. And so that, in a way, had was giving me a lot of stress, because I would wake up like sweating and with like pain on my chest, and trying to get back to the dream, or trying to remember as much as possible of, because again, it was almost like real life, but in a way then you realize, wait, this doesn't make any sense. And I'll tell you one of the many. My mom would always come with me to my doctor's appointments. Since I have chronic pain, I have multiple doctor's appointments. I have to go see one specialist, the other one not. So she would always come with me, and she would always keep me positive, because by this point always, feel so discouraged because, it's been so long with this journey of chronic pain. But she would always keep me positive and she'll come with me even though I can go on my own. She'll come with me just, to hang out and come with me. And so in my dream one time she came over, or she was calling me and we're talking on the phone and I was telling her what the doctor said and blah, blah, blah. And then she'll be like, oh, no, no, you don't have to go along. I'm going to come pick you up. And I was like, oh, okay, you're off for work. Okay, pick me up, pick me up. Okay. And then she'll call me and she was like, I'm downstairs, I'm here. And I'm like, what do you mean downstairs? Because I live in a, flat first floor. And then I will come out the window and then I see her car and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm coming. And then I realize, wait, why am I on a third floor? And then I remember that, like, and then I know, I look around me and I'm in Peru suddenly on our house where I grew up. We live in a building and we were on the third floor, and then it hit me. So I start having these panic moments, almost as if you're having a nightmare. That now I know at this point that I am on a dream and I don't want to wake up, right? And then I'm like, no, no, I don't want to wake up. I wanted to go to the doctors with my mom, and so I would wake up crying, sad, and then with that feeling, and so I will stay up the remaining of the night because I'm trying to recreate the dream and I can't. So it was like the hardest things. And dreams like this happen on a daily basis for months. So I had the worst sleep, insomnia, or I would try to sleep and then this will happen. I'll probably sleep for an hour and then I wouldn't sleep anymore after that. So I've been like that for a while until this one dream one time that I was having one of those moments and I was saying, I don't want to wake up. 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 And then I felt, and I knew I was in my room at this point. At this point, I was already in between the dream and the trying not to wake up, but I knew I was in my room. And I felt an arm, like I felt a hand holding me, and I knew it was her hand because I just felt her touch, and I felt, her this part of her arm touching me, and then holding my hand like this, and I knew I was not awake. My eyes were closed, but I knew I was in my bedroom. And then she said, "I love you, hijita," like she would call me. "I love you, hijita." And I heard her voice whispering in my ear, and I 100% believed that it was her spirit right there with me in the room. And it was so emotional. And I'm sorry. And so she came to give me peace and to console me because she knew I was having those nightmares. And after that, I never had a nightmare again. I never had that desperate feeling of trying to wake up from a dream anymore. I still have the dreams, but now the dreams are beautiful and precious. And I don't feel like, oh, I'm gonna wake up. I don't feel like I'm fighting with myself anymore. So I believe that she came to comfort me and to give me peace. And I have felt better after that because I know that she's at peace and I know that she's still, watching over me and the girls and my brother. I don't think I think I only told, I told my brother about my dream and he was crying because it was so real, and I 100% believe that she was there with me. So yeah, so that was a very like turning point on my healing process, because I think after that she just gave me so much peace that I had a little bit more understanding. I don't know how to explain it, but like I said, knowing that we can control everything, and we just have to, you know, realize that yes, it happened too soon, but she's okay now and she's not in pain. And that gives me a lot of peace and comfort. Uh, anyway, so another thing that really helped me go through my grieving process is to try something new, or restart a new hobby, restart an old hobby, and kind of make it new again, and just put my mind on something. And so I share with you that when I was in the hospital with my mom, I started crocheting these little turtles. I have one here to share with you. So I got into making these little guys, and they're just so comforting to hug when you need a hug. They're so precious. And so I have so many because I find so much comfort on making these little turtles. I don't need any more, but just the process of making them brings me back to the days in the hospital. And this might sound like, "Ooh, why would you want to remember that?" The days that I spent with my mom in the hospital when she was there shortly for too short. I mean, unfortunately, for too short of a time. We were so happy together in those moments, talking. We would watch TV on the hospital room. We would crochet, and I would show her the crocheting process, and then she would make the turtle dance, and those were, even though we're going through all of these, and it was so uncertain where things were gonna go, they were very beautiful moments we had together. And this is why I'm so grateful that I was able to take time off of work and just dedicate my 100% to my mom. My brother was over, my ex-husband was helping with the girls a lot, so it was a team. We were a team, but I would not leave that hospital. I will not. I know my cousins will come and visit my aunt, and they say, go to the cafe and take a break or for a walk. And I really didn't need a break. I really didn't need a walk. If anything, I would come home to, shower and spend some time with the girls. The girls were also coming to visit at the hospital, but just like I had this major anxiety that I needed to get back to my mom. I need to go back there. I just wanted to be there. I know they didn't need me there. There was professionals and a lot of an amazing team taking care of her, but I just wanted to be in her presence and that energy being there. I just wanted to spend every minute. Since the moment we found out my mom had cancer, I just needed to spend every minute with her. Somehow I knew that it was gonna be a fast process. I mean, I was scared it was gonna be. I was hoping it wasn't going to be. But anyway, so I have been reading some books that have helped me with my grieving process, and I wanted to share those with you on this video. But also another thing that helped me really kind of, find comfort and, on my grieving process was journaling. So I wanted to share with you the journal that I have been feeling. And I'm not so much talking about my grieving process on this journal. I'm talking to my mom. So these are letters to my mom that, they're in Spanish because she speaks Spanish. So I say how the day was today, and I do put pictures of her here, like pictures of my brother. This was the last time we all sat down at the table together before we went to the hospital the next day. And so beautiful memories, but also talking to her as if she was here, as if she was going to read this. someday. And then I have here also like the letters that the girls brought to my mom when she was in the hospital, and my daughter was so sweet to make a little letter with the pictures of all the babies, all the animals. My mom was really missing the pets when she was at the hospital. She was really missing them. So this has helped me, and it continues to help me. I need to make another one. I didn't make this one, by the way. I did purchase this a long time ago. I had it, and I just decided to use it. So yeah, I highly recommend you finding an outlet to just write down, to still talk to that person. I know they probably won't read it, but it gives me so much joy that I can still talk to my mom in this manner. And I'm gonna continue doing it. I tell her how was the day, something funny the girl said that she was missing out. And sometimes I even joke with her. I say, Mom, I tried calling you today again. When am I gonna get this? When? Because me and my mom would always be joking. So that's how I would talk to her if she was here. So why would I not? That was our dynamic. So I shared that here. Another thing that I was doing, I started reading Agatha Christie. I have read Agatha Christie before, but Agatha Christie was my mom's favorite writer. And growing up, she had a whole bookcase, just kind of like, that's what I get it from. Like I have here, but she had all the collections of Agatha Christie, and she loved them. And so I liked a couple. For me, they're kind of like slow, but I'm more into sometimes the thrillers. But I started going my way around novels. But this book here is in Spanish. This book I bought for my mom because she wanted to read when we were in the hospital, and she started reading it. And here's a little bookmark, and this is how much she read. The font is really small, so I mean, that was one of the issues. Like, she was like, oh, it's so small. So I was looking for something in Spanish that had bigger font, and I just didn't find it. But just having this book and touching it and knowing this is one of the last things that she was doing, I don't want to miss her bookmark. I know, it's just like the Grieving is so new, so inexplicable, right? How is A Date with the Dead? That's what the translation says. A Date with the Dead. How is that a grieving book? Oh, actually, it is talking about that, I guess. But it's Agatha Christie, and my mom loved, and she loved thrillers. We love watching movies, listening to music. The music's something that I still can do. We always listen to, she loved Elvis Presley. She loved cumbias, Colombian cumbias. And I cannot, every time I play a music that we love together, a song that she loved, I still can't handle that. It's too much. So I try not to. But yeah, this book, I'll probably read it, but I won't ever move her bookmark. I don't know. But yeah, the grieving process, it's inexplicable, and it's different for everyone. But you gotta do what makes you happy, what gives you comfort. Yeah. So anyway, let me share with you some books that helped me a little bit, or actually some of these have helped me a lot. So this book here is called Shark Heart, a love story by Emily Habeck. And this is a book about this couple that the husband had this sickness, and that he's going to, and on this, I guess different, it's probably a magical realism, I don't know. But so on this time, it is kind of normal when people get diseases and they are turning into these random animals. So he gets one of these diseases, the husband, and he's turning into a shark. And it's unexplicable. The doctors don't know how to cure it. He's just going through the process, and the wife is also going through the process. And I started reading this book uh, before actually my mom passed, and the reason why I was reading it is because the sickness that he was getting. Right, I had this book on my stash, and I heard good reviews about it, and I wanted to kind of understand that, some things we can control, like the sickness, and I was trying to get on that set of mind of, trying to realize, or get into my brain that yes, my mom has cancer, and like, and so a lot of this book talks about the wife trying to understand that her husband is going through a different sickness and something that they can control. So it also helped me a lot with grieving, because she's learning how to let go. She's learning how to let go of him, and let him become a shark and go into this new world of, being a shark. And he's so, at the beginning, they're both like very worried about it, but then as the time goes, she's learning how to understand that he's probably happy becoming a shark. He's probably happier. He'll be happier once he's there. And again, going through the cancer, and now, I relate so much to this story afterwards. I read it before, but now, like, after going through the whole forgiving process, I keep going back to this book in my mind, because yes, it is so true. I highly believe that as hard as it was letting my mom go, she's in a way better place. She's the shark in the beautiful ocean. And please read it. Even if you're not going through grieving, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful book, to read. And one of my favorites. It was my favorite book last year. It's still one of my favorite books of all time, and so I really loved it. Even though, this was a couple, it really relates for you going, through, grieving for somebody, and not maybe not even grieving, maybe somebody who's going through a sickness that you don't understand and just want to try to be more empathetic about it. So she was very empathetic about, maybe this is something that you guys always did, but maybe it's just not possible, and understanding that, his conditions are different in general, right? Maybe just, changing, maybe not full, he wasn't fully, he wasn't dying, but his condition was changed, and you just have to understand, maybe somebody's going through a disability and you're not capable of, doing the things you used to do. Your conditions have changed, but, learning how to understand all of that. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. Another book that and that it's beautiful about grieving, and it's just missing somebody in general, right? Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikatsu Kawaguchi. There is a whole series of these books. I only finished the first one, but I do want to go through all of them. So on this book, there is this cafe where, there's this magical, it's a magical place where you go, you order a cup of coffee, and while the time the coffee is warm, you can travel in time and talk to somebody that is no longer in your life. Not necessarily they have passed, but it's just no longer in your life and you're grieving for that person. And so you have the opportunity to go back in time and talk to them one more time. Now, you can change things for, you can go back in time and, change things and make things better for the present. You can't. But you have the possibility to just go and see that person one more time, or maybe talk to them and understand of something, ask of something. And so I thought it was a beautiful book that, brings that yeah, we can change things back in, in time, but the comfort of knowing that you can see them one more time and maybe try to understand. And it has a different situation. It has like a husband and a wife. It has a girl grieving for her boyfriend. And so yeah, it was beautiful, but it was a little bit hard to read. It was I don't know, it just has different, it doesn't have chapters, it just has breaks. So yeah, navigating the book was a little bit different, but I loved it, and I want to read the other books on this series as well. Another book that, oh my gosh, I love this book so much, so much. This is The Dark Interval by Roca. And let's see if you can focus in there, right there. So this is a collection of essays, or yeah, essays or letters, basically, that Roca wrote to his friends that have been going through grieving, right? So what I really love about the book is that the way he gives his condolences, if anything, to people that were on his life or people that he loved is so genuine, and there's so many ways to say it without being the typical, I'm sorry for your loss, or how you feeling, so sometimes those things just trigger a whole lot of emotions, right? When somebody just says, how are you feeling today? Oh my gosh, please don't open that door. Or how, I'm sorry for your loss. What? And that's the thing to say, I understand, but the receiving person, what are you supposed to say to that? Thank you, but I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard. I never knew how hard it was until I actually experienced it myself. But yeah, so this is a beautiful collection of little essays or letters that he writes to people, different people in his life that have been going through grieving, and the way he gives them comfort, you can take that onto yourself. And there's also something very magical about, the old English language, how eloquent and how beautiful and, poetic it sounds. So I really love this book. I'll probably reread it again, because again, really short essays, and they're all just beautiful. Oh, it is called Letters on Loss, Grief, and Transformation. So that is the name of that. This one, it's another book that it is just so summary and so beautiful, but also it's more of a lighter read, but it teaches so much about, I don't know, it just gave me so much peace and happiness reading this book. So this is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Serli. Let's see if we can focus. There we go. So on this book, we are following this girl, Katy. So Katy and her mom were very close, and they planned this trip to Italy together. And before the trip happens, mom passes away. And so Kathy's going through her own grieving process, and her husband says, why don't you just go to Italy, to the place, to do all the things that you were going to do with your mom in honor of her memory. Because the mom wanted to go back to this place where she had been before in her youth. And so Kathy goes. She goes to Italy, and she goes to the villa where her mom have once been. But then when she gets there, she realizes that the lady that she has been talking to is her mom. So somehow she has traveled in time, going to this villa, and now she is there, sharing this vacation with her mom from the past. So her and her mom are about the same age, and the mom obviously doesn't know that she is her daughter, but she's getting to know her mom on a different level, when, before she had kids, before she had her. And so this book really, really made me want it to, it just made me think so much of, we as kids, sometimes we don't think about our parents having a life before us, which is so incredible to think. Actually, we think, this is my mom and I know her and I do know her 100%. But like, she had a full life before she had me. And this book just opened that curiosity on me. And of course, I know a lot. She has told me a lot about her life, but I just want to know more. I just want to see how, what she did when she was growing up. And me and my brother, this last time when I went to Peru, we were going over, like, this place where where she grew up, and the music that they listened to, and just being in her shoes for a little bit of time was, so healing. And so this book was just beautiful for that. So it touches a lot about her grief, but also, it's just an amazing thing. I think getting, having, can you imagine traveling somewhere in time, and then you're like, sharing a life with your family member that has passed, and this is how they were, I don't know, it was so beautiful and magical. So yes, I do recommend that one as a more heartwarming book to read. Then I have a Wintering. This one is The Power of Rest and Retreat in Difficult Times by Catherine May. Again, trying to focus. There you go. So I needed this book. I didn't know how much I needed this book until I read this book, until I read the first page of this book. And so I've never thought about this concept of wintering before. And so basically, what the book is talking about is, and it's a story, it's not a self healing book or anything like that. It is a story about this wife and husband. Again, the husband had a sickness, and they're going through that as well. But what I love about the book is realizing that we all have our different seasons inside, and just like animals have a need to winter, right? We always hear about the bears wintering or the greyhound wintering. I'm sure all animals do. But we humans are also animals, and there's also the need to find comfort, to winter, to shut down and give us ourselves this opportunity to regenerate and come out from this wintering season better. We can't always be at 100% or even at 80%. We can't always be steady. We have to go through ups and downs, and there will be seasons in our lives where we will really need to winter and to pay more attention to ourselves and heal before moving to the next season. And it might not be winter on itself, it could coincide with winter, but it might not be winter and spring and summer. It would just be our internal winter, like having somebody in your life pass, going through grieving. That is your wintering. That is the need for you to, not be at your 100%, and that's okay. It's okay to not be there. It's okay to not even try to get there. It's okay to understand that you are gonna need the time, and then one day you'll feel better. So I am getting there, and I am still going through wintering, but I think on a less and deep and a less what is the word, not as emotional as before, right? So finding some comfort, yes, but I love the book. It has a lot of good analogies, and so I loved it. So again, I do recommend this book also, and so yeah, so that's that one. Then there is another book that it's very dear to my heart. This book. This is a book called A Man Called Otto by Frederick Backman. And this is a movie, so you could watch the movie if you don't feel like reading the book. But so this was my mom's favorite movie. Like her, last year of life, we watched this movie together like 4 times. uh, because she just loved it. She loved the message. She loves Tom Hanks. And the first time she watched it, she was like, "You have to watch it. We have to watch it." And I was like, "No, I'm reading the book." I was reading the book. So as I was reading the book, I didn't want to watch the movie. So that's usually what I do. I like to read the book first if there's a book available first. And I loved the book. And I remember I didn't even finish the book because we just sat down and rewatched the movie. And I was like, "Oh, you just ruined my ending." So I remember all of that. But she loved this movie, and this also talks a lot about grieving. So we're following this a man called Otto that he recently lost his wife, and he was such a he was a man of routine, him and the wife, and you're learning about their story, how they met, how they had this beautiful connection, and him just not being able to cope with that. He is trying to end his life many times, but then there is life circumstances that come his way that for some reason or another, even his attempt of ending his life fails like every time. And it's a little bit funny in a way because I like to think that's the wife, like trying to stop him because he's trying to do something and it just suddenly goes wrong. And then there's this cat that shows up in his life that, kind of gives him a little bit of purpose. And watch the movie, read the book. It's just amazing and beautiful. And it is obviously a little bit sad too when but because for me this book and the movie was connected to so many happy memories, it just gives me so much comfort and so much it's kind of like when I need a hug. I put on this movie again and again. I've seen it so many more times after that because it's connected to the memories. I love them. Then there's another book. This is more like a young adult. If you have maybe somebody younger that is going through grieving, this will be a really good book to read as well. This is You've Reached Sam by Dustin Tao. And it is a bit of a romance book, but mainly it touches on the grieving. So they are teenagers, and the boyfriend passes away on an accident, and the girl is going through her grieving process, right? And whatever that means, up and down. You made mistakes. You want to share that you're grieving, you don't want to share. It's just such a weird thing, honestly, because sometimes I feel like I myself need people. I need to talk and I need to vent how I'm feeling, but other times I don't even want to talk to anyone, and I just go into my little shell. And then when somebody brings it up, like, and I was talking with my aunt one time, and she brought a good point because I remember she was talking about something. I was like, I really don't want to touch that subject when, 2 days before that, we were openly talking about it. And it's just weird. She was like, "Oh, I thought because you were sharing." I'm like, "No, I know. And that's my bad. But, maybe at that time I was sharing, but like this time I just can't. I just can't sing myself to talk about it or share." But anyway, so on this book, we're following these teenagers. The boyfriend passes, and the girl is left to deal with her grieving, and people not understanding her. And then she finds her phone, her boyfriend's phone, or I think it's her phone, but her boyfriend is calling her, and she can talk to him on the phone. And so they find again this connection. So she has to learn how to let him go, right? And it is a beautiful book on grieving as well. So those are the books that I have read that helped me a little bit, and I also have some books here that I am going to be moving my way to, and I just wanted to briefly mention them because I think they will also be really beautiful. So this one here is The Lucky List by Rachel Lippincott, and I hope I'm saying that right. And funny thing, I had this book for like 4 years and I've never read it. And I knew I had it and I knew I wanted to read it and I couldn't find it. I don't know. I mean, I couldn't find it. And then it was on my daughter's bookcase in her room and I just found it because I wanted to talk about this book because it has been in my mind forever. I've been wanting to read it. I've been going through my whole bookcases. I have 3 bookcases. Like, where did I put it? Where? And sometimes I take books with me that I want to read and I take them in my car, in my purse, and I was like, did I take it somewhere? And I just found it on my daughter's bookcase. But I wanted to recommend this with you, and now that I have it, I will be reading it. So on this book, we're following this mother and daughter, and they had this really beautiful connection. And I don't know much about this book, but I know that after the mom passes and the daughter is going through her things, she finds this bucket list. And the bucket list has things that the mom wanted to do. And so the daughter wants to recreate or do all the things that her mom wanted to do. She wanted to go through all the list on all the items on the bucket list, and here is the list that you know so the daughter is going to, the way that she wants to honor her mom is to go through that list. Now the mom and the daughter, or I think the mom was, I think, very lucky. So I think every time she goes through one of the items on the bucket list, she discovers something new about her mom or some sort of something magical. So yeah, I want to read it. I think it's gonna be beautiful to read, and this is 12 and up, so anybody can read it, any age, from 12 and up. This other book here, I really wanted to read it. I picked this up at Barnes and Noble not too long ago. It's called The Healing Season of Pottery by Yeon So-min. And I'm not gonna lie, I picked it up because of the beautiful cover. Just looking at the cover of this book brings me so much comfort and joy. And this is not a book about healing, but it is a book about change. And so on this book, we're following this girl named Jungmin. And so Jungmin is going through the worst year of her life. Everything is going wrong. I think she's even fired from her job, and I don't know, something. She's going through things. And she finds pottery. And she starts doing pottery as a new hobby. And which is funny because I mentioned to you that I reconnected with my crochet roots after going through this major change, and that has helped me because even though I've known crochet and I've done crochet before, it was something new that I haven't done in a while that it felt so healing, and that the side of like, oh, let me try this, and anyway, so the creativity side, right? And so when she discovers pottery, she discovered that is her healing. That's her way through healing whatever she's been going through. So it has beautiful reviews. So I'm going to be reading this, and yeah, just get it for the cover. I mean, it's so beautiful. But yeah, so I'll let you know maybe once I read this new this last list, how they how how they turned out. And this other book I want to read, I picked it up recently as well. It is Grief is Love by Marisa Renee Lee, and it says Living with Loss. So, I mean, I don't know much. I know that it had beautiful reviews. And it says over here on the back, it says Marisa Renee Lee is a friend that we all wish we had in times of need. Compassionate, smart, understanding, and endlessly wise. Grief is love is the closest many of us will get to understand eternal love for another. So yeah, so I definitely want to read this book. And then this next book, I didn't just start it, but I started this book, and it's called The Wheel of Life, A Memory of Living and Dying by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And so this was a book recommended to me by when I started doing grief therapy, and I got it. I think I don't know if I share with you that I didn't want to do the grief therapy. I just wasn't ready. It's probably something that I could now try, now that I'm a little bit more open about talking about, you know, my feelings and listening to other people's feelings. But for me, this wasn't, the grief therapy was not working, or I wasn't as receiving to it as I probably should have been, but I wasn't there yet. So now I probably feel like I am. But anyway, this book was recommended, and I started it. So far I'm on the story of this lady who is talking about her childhood and, you know, her view of life, and yes, so I honestly don't know much about this book, as you can see, but it is a profound lesson for the living, and so yeah. So over here it says, when we have passed the test we were sent to Earth to learn, we are allowed to graduate. We are allowed to shed our body, which imprisons our soul the way a cocoon encloses the future butterfly. And when the time is right, we can let go of it. Then we will be free of pain, free of fears, free of worries, free as the beautiful butterfly returning home to God. So I know it's gonna be beautiful. So I just started it, and yeah, we will see. We will see. So that has been my grieving journey so far, and if you guys are going through the same or something similar, reach out, let me know. And if you have books to recommend to me about grieving or change, let me know. Put them on the description box below. I'm sure a lot of us can benefit from your comments on this topic, and I hope that you guys are doing well. I want to send you big hugs, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.